Hi everyone, welcome to UTV Gooner and our show, The Shooting Lone Star with Ram from the Austin Gooners. Hey bro, how are you?
Oh man, could have been better, but yeah, just like as I was mentioning to you before we went live, man, the sun setting on our title chase has been kind of a sad way to end such a remarkable season. But as we'll talk about, as we'll get into it with in this little chat, um, it almost feels like it was inevitable. I think, especially after we faltered, um, starting like way back in the Liverpool match. Like it's just been kind of inevitable, but you kind of keep hope. And it felt like the last embers of dying hope just kind of burnt out on Sunday, man. Really, really disappointing. It was a disappointing weekend for me and all my teams. Austin FC lost on the last second game winner by the opposing team, and Austin FC is not fighting for any titles right now. We're actually sort of like in the bottom. It's been a real struggle. So yeah, it's just been kind of a disappointing run. So yeah, man, could be better. I'll say that. How about you?
Oh bro, it's been a tough week, man. Really tough week. Getting a lot of banter and annoying comments on the WhatsApp groups I'm on and then at work as well. And oh bro, it's been a real horrible few days. But you know what? Proud of our team. We fought well this season. We've improved a lot. Everyone's talking about we bottled it. We spoke about this before. There's no way you can say we bottled it. I know there's the stat going around that we were on top of the league for 93% of the season, which is a big, obviously a huge amount of the season to be top. But City were never that far away from us. They had games in hand, and we just know what a good team they are. Just look what they've gone and done. They've won 12 games in a row. Looks like they're going to make it
Yeah.
15 probably in the Premier League. That's an amazing run to go on, and we know they're capable of doing it because they've done it in the past, and we've done it again now. I remember speaking to you about when there was 10 games to go, and we're like, City somewhere along the line, we expect them to drop a few points here and there. We're talking about how many points we think we're going to need, and look what they've gone and done, and just look what they've gone and done tonight. Battered Real Madrid, who we know are a class team, the kings of Europe when it comes to winning the Champions League, won it so many times, and they absolutely destroyed them. That was a really one-sided game that I just saw there now. And we saw what they done against us at the Etihad, what they done against Bayern Munich. They have a moment just a level above everyone else, and definitely for me, the best club football team in the world. So there's no shame in finishing second to them. And for us to push them as much as we did, we've got to take great pride in that. So as disappointing as it is right now, when we look at the season overall, very good season, proud of our team, and the future is bright.
Yeah, man, and I think anybody who wants to, you can manipulate stats. You can look at this, that, and the other, and say and make an argument that yes, Arsenal did bottle it, but at the same time, like what I would consider something like that, like blowing the title, would be like if you were the favorite from the beginning, you had it all in your favor, and then part of the reason you lost it was because like you just completely like bottled it, fumbled it, or whatever. And to some degree, yes, like we were at 8 points ahead a couple of times, but yeah, as you've been saying, man, like and without even having to pile on, like City, yeah, if they end when they end this season, they're gonna probably finish with 15 straight Premier League wins. Like, what do you even do to that? You have to be perfect. And let's just say, best case scenario, we're gonna finish with 87 points. Like I've looked at stats and I've gone back and kind of looked at past winners, and 87 points has a lot of times been enough to win top flight in England. So it's just a different type of era and a different kind of beast that we had to go against. I even told a friend of mine who's a big Liverpool supporter, like, now I know what Liverpool felt like for all those years. I mean, 99 points one year and they didn't win the league. Like, for me, that's bottling, right? Like, yeah. So, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm very proud of this football team. Again, I'll say it first. Like, I was one saying, like, man, let's just get top four. And for a long time, I was like, let's just secure top four, and then I'll start worrying about the title. And it just kind of happened at the same time where we secured top four at the same time where our title hopes kind of died. So yeah, man, even though it's still mathematically up for grabs, it's almost a certainty that we're not going to get it. But it's been a wonderful season overall. Man. Season, uh, longtime Arsenal fans have been saying the best season since the Invincible run. For me, as again a relatively new supporter of like 6-7 years, this has been the best team that I've seen and the most fun that I've had watching Arsenal play. So you got to tip your hat to City, and then at the same time say like I'm excited about, the levels have been raised. You know, I think I brought this up the other day. When I first started rooting for Arsenal, like our big signing that summer was Socrates. I mean, remember that guy? Like now we're talking about Declan Rice and Caicedo and all these names. Like we're talking about competing for the title again, and not just participating in Champions League, but actually making some noise. And like those are the standards. And I think that's what we have to take away from the season. Not none of this like trying to go back and forth with people talking about bottle this and bottle that. Like, hey man, there's been improvements. Like you can look and see improvement, and I think ultimately that's all that matters. Yes, you want to win trophies, but sometimes you can't always win trophies, and sometimes you have to look for success in other ways. And for us, I think we've improved the way we look and also our point total. So we're getting better. The trophies are going to come, and but we've got the foundation going, man. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Let's talk a bit about that Brighton game, though. As much as we don't want to talk about it, that 3-0
Yeah.
defeat to them. First of all, credit to them. They did play really well. But I just wanted to ask you your thoughts. Do you think going into that game after seeing the City result would deflated the players that played a part? We know as fans, we thought deflated seeing City had won again against Everton so comfortably. It was like we're hoping, a little bit of hope that maybe Everton could do something. We're in a relegation battle. They played so well just a week before beating Brighton 5-1. So there's a little bit of hope maybe they could do so. And then when you see that result, obviously the players have heard that result, it does deflate you, and it can obviously then have an effect on the performance. What would you put this performance down to? Also, there's the tiredness factor. I've said this a lot. A lot of people saying, "No, you're just making excuses," but it really is a big factor for a squad that is not big like Man City squad. We don't have the ability to rotate the way they do, even if they're playing more games because they've gone into the latter stages of more competitions. They've got such a big squad which they've rotated throughout the season. It's not just now they rotate; they've been rotating throughout the season to keep their players fresh. We've not been able to do that. We've had to rely on the same core group of players who have had to play a lot of games. Some of them had to play in the World Cup as well. So we're now right at the end of the season. So tiredness definitely does play a part. And again, I'm not just making excuses, but it is a factor. So yeah, what would you put this result against Brighton down to?
Yeah, man, I agree with pretty much everything you said. It was definitely, I think there was for sure some a fatigue was a factor. Even though I thought the first half we were the better team for a while, and I remember going into halftime thinking like oh, we got this. Like we've had some really good chances as the half closed out. We had the momentum going into the half. Um, and then I think all that changed with that first goal. Brighton are one of those teams that they're just, I mean, they're like sixth in the table, but they've just been playing. They're one of the hottest teams, I think, in the Premier League. And they're playing so well. And they're very confident in the style that they play. Um, and I feel like maybe they just had slightly more to play for because they are fighting to get into Europe or to reach, you know, new heights for that football club. You know what I'm saying? And I think there was a little bit of a factor of, yes, Arsenal feeling a little deflated at the score from earlier. A lot of hopes are going into that City Everton match, like, please, let's let's get something out of that, right? And then I just think once that second goal went in, I felt like the second and third goal were just, they were against the run of play. It was almost like a little bit of unluckiness, you know what I mean? But some of that unluckiness came because we just weren't sharp and we were playing a little sloppy in the back. I thought QER had a rough game after having a couple of games where he was looking really good. I think this game brought him back to earth a little bit. And then as a team as a whole, everybody just kind of, it was just a big deflating. It was like popping a balloon, right? And just deflated, and everything just kind of went downhill after that second goal, or even the first goal, right? I think after the first goal, it just kind of went against us. And 3-0 feels a little bit harsh, but also just well deserved. Like Brighton, credit to them, they were the better team on the day. But yeah, I think those last two goals, I almost felt like that was just unlucky, and it was just like, oh, I mean, but that's just how football goes sometimes, right? Like, you know, yeah, there's a lot of results where we didn't, like, the results look bad against us, and I didn't feel like we weren't, like, it wasn't that much of a distance, and I think this is one of those as well. Like 3-0, yes, but yeah, it's not like we weren't. I thought we played well enough to win for a while, and then it just kind of got away from us. So it sucks, man. What can you do? But yeah, very, very disappointing way to end the title run, if you will. But such is life, and that's what happens, and we gotta bounce back from that. And I think we can, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's difficult now getting into that Nottingham Forest game because we know that second place is sealed. We've got a big enough gap, so we haven't got to worry about trying to make sure we seal second place. And it's so unlikely now with 3 games to go. City just need the one win, which it's gonna come. You know, as much as we can say there's still a little bit of hope and it's not done till it's done, it's done. We just saw it done today against Real Madrid. I cannot see all 3 of Chelsea, Brighton, and Brentford stopping them. I see them getting at least for one win they need out of them 3 games. So yeah, going into that Nottingham Forest game now. All right, we're still playing for pride, but it's just difficult. You know, as fans, we got that deflated feeling for sure. The players, you know, they're gonna be feeling like that as well, without having much to play for now, apart from pride. Obviously, pride is a big thing, and we want to go out there and get the win. But it's going to be a hard one. What's your thoughts on this Nottingham Forest game?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of rotation. I mean, obviously, you know, we saw Martinelli's going to be out for the remainder of the season with that ankle injury, so we're going to see that position obviously rotated. Um, I'm kind of hoping to see Saka get a rest. I think he's been struggling for a long time, and um, yeah, I think we're just going to see a lot of different players come in and get a chance to play. I'm kind of thinking that Emil Smith Rowe will get a chance to play. Um, you know, Reece Nelson, some stuff like that. Um, you know, Tierney again. Uh, but yeah, I think as I mentioned to you before the show, and I kind of put it on the record and talk about it like this, but you know, even though yes, our second place is secure, there is a lot to play for in the last 2 games. I mean, you heard it in Arteta's post game comments where he was talking about, like, obviously, yes, everybody's disappointed, and this is not how you want. Like, you know, he was apologizing to the fans. This is not the way we should be going out like that. And you know, he's going to kind of be, I don't know exactly the phrasing, but he basically said, like, I'm going to be looking at how the players perform in the next couple of weeks, like kind of saying, like, all right, like this is almost like a job interview, if you will, you know. Um, I think he's not happy with losing the title, just like he wasn't happy last season losing out on top 4. And the standards have to be raised, and they've been raised by the performance of the year this year, and it's been great. But these last two games are really going to show the fans, and I think the coaching staff, like, what these players got in them, because I think there is something to say where I don't think necessarily we're soft, but we need to improve our mentality. And I think part of that is showing some professionalism when the games are when everything's already decided, right? So I would like to see I'd like to see a lot of rotation so we can see a lot of these players that haven't been getting the shot, like Eddie and Teddy as well. Like, but I also want to see us going out there and just kind of firing, especially in a hostile crowd like in Nottingham Forest, who are going to be fighting to stay out of that relegation zone. Like, I think they're a little bit safe, but they still need to kind of. They probably would do well with 3 points, so I think they're going to fight really hard, and we need to fight just as hard to show out. And I think a lot will be said, you know, a lot will be determined, not necessarily on the table, but who sticks around next year and who doesn't by how we look against a fired up Nottingham Forest team. So yeah, I think what I'm looking for as a fan is I'm looking for the players who may not have been getting a lot of opportunities as of late to take advantage of it and to show out, man. Like, I'd love to see Emil Smith Rowe come out and just, you know, set the pitch on fire, man, and just look good. So we'll see what happens. But I'm still hopeful that we're going to see it, that we're going to get a good performance from our boys.
Okay, what's your quick score prediction?
With all that being said, I think it's still going to be a very, very close matchup because, like I said, Nottingham Forest are 34 points, 3 points away from the drop zone. So, like, you know, if they lose, they could definitely be back in the relegation zone easily. So they're not going to come out, you know, timid or whatever. They're at home. Nottingham Forest played City well at home, as well as other teams are well. I think they even like beat Liverpool 1-0 at home. So it's not an easy place to play. They're going to play difficult. I think it's going to end up being like I'm going to say 2-1 or 3-2. I think like the 3-2 scoreline is just going to be something that this season is going to be remembered for. I'm going to say 3-2 in our favor, though.
Okay,
How about you?
yeah, I think it'll be a tight game. They've got a good record at home. They've played really well at home this season, even against the bigger teams. So yeah, it's going to be a real tough game. I think we'll come through 3-1, but it'll be tight. Like maybe we'll be 2-1 up and then get a late goal to seal it 3-1. But yeah, definitely going to be a big battle. As I said, just for our players to lift themselves, it's going to be hard. But as you said, that professionalism comes into it a lot as well. I want to see us go out there, put in a good performance. I'm sure Arteta's going to be telling them we've got to do this for our fans, our away fans that have been travelling all around the country with us this season. Want to give him a nice performance to go out with. It's our last away game of the season. Same then against Wolves. We have the last home game of the season. Again, want to finish the season on a high, give us fans something to cheer. And really got to praise Arteta as well because you look at his mentality and the way he is. We know we've seen the Amazon documentary. He doesn't take anything like below players falling below standards. We saw the whole situation with Aubameyang. He has the things he talked about at the start. What's the word he uses? His famous word, non-negotiables.
Non-negotiables. Yeah, there you go.
That's his thing, and you could see the disappointment in him again with what's happened here. I'm sure he's obviously very proud of the team, but it's the thing you strive for. You want to be the number one team, and we were so close. But you know, as a lot of people were giving me this banter, I was saying to him, all right, yeah, last season we didn't manage to get top four in the end. This season we've improved so much that we've done that so easily, sealed top four a long time ago, and we've improved to get to second. This season we've not managed to get the top spot, but again, we're on the upward trajectory. And next season, we're going to improve once again. And then this time, hopefully, win the title. But, you know, we can't look that far ahead. You know, it's so many things that can happen in the season. Everyone keeps telling me, oh, these other teams are going to improve, but they need to believe that we're going to be improving too, because we will be. Our players are so young. It's going to be another season playing together. They're going to learn so much from this season as well. Them experiences they're going to take into next season. And when we know we're going to be adding strength to the squad, we've got the Champions League now, the money that comes with that, also being able to attract more players, be offering Champions League football. So there's so many positives for us. It's a massive summer transfer window coming up. But just as I was saying at the start, our future is very bright.
I agree, man. Yeah, standards have been raised, and yeah, everybody is gonna like nobody is going to be assured of like their starting position. I mean, even though we are gonna, even though we did, improve like Martinelli's contract. I read somewhere that Odegaard, um, Ramsdale, and obviously Saka are gonna get, re-signed and given like a pay raise or whatever. Like, and they deserve it, well deserved. But then at the same time, like, everybody's got to continue to raise their levels as well. Because, and yeah, everybody was saying last year, like how, oh, you bottled top four. This is your opportunity to do so. You know, good luck next year. And look what happened. Like we leapt over everybody, and we are the only ones that were going toe to toe with City. But yeah, of course, everybody else is going to reload. But you know what? So is Arsenal. Arsenal's gonna reload. It's not like we're happy. We are disappointed, and people are looking at this like saying that we're content with being second place. Like, that's not even the case. But at some point, you have to look at the progress you've made and kind of, at the very least, pat yourself on the back and say, like, look, man, we've been improving all these years. We're going to continue to do so. Like, I feel like the process, the project, the vision has been communicated well, and everybody's buying in. Like, so yeah, I mean, there's a lot to look forward to. So yeah, I'm just kind of hoping that things continue to go our way and everybody continues to buy in. And progress is never linear; like, it's never going to be always perfect. But the best you can do is just like continue to improve yourself individually, and then as fans, all we can do is just continue to support, back the players, show them, because they do read social media and the messages and things like that. Just continue, and then of course people at the stadium, like the environment. I can tell on TV how incredible it is. Like, we just got to continue backing them 100%. And we're all in this together on some level, and it's just we gotta take it as it goes, man.
Yeah, for sure, bro. There's that saying that you hear that it's easy to be with someone or be the team person, wherever it may be, when they're doing well and winning, but it's when the times are hard and when you're losing or suffering, wherever it might be, that's when you've got to be sticking with your team or the person and lifting them, head up, chest out, proud. It's been a great season. We'll look back on it with some regrets, obviously, but just got to give credit to Man City. We really do. There's another thing, point that someone I was speaking to after the Brighton game was making. So we look at our situation, we have a bad result. That can happen anytime, right? When you look over at the team you're competing with and you're hoping somewhere along the line they'll have a bad result. But when they don't and they just keep winning, it drains you mentally. That's tiring. When you just look over at the other team and you're like, okay, let's see how they get on. I mean, if they do happen to drop points, then that obviously gives you a boost as well. Okay, cool. We didn't get our job done this time, but look what happened over there. They've not managed to get the win too. So now that will give you automatically a boost, you know? We've not had that with City. They've just gone on a crazy run. It's unbelievable what they're able to do, and credit to them. We just got to hold our hands up and say that is one hell of a team, and we're gonna go on probably and win the treble this season. That's how good they are. So
Yeah,
respect to them.
and we're the only ones that had any like chance at the title, right? Like, yes, we led all that time, and they want to point to that as like a sign of bottling it. But I can take that and just be like, all right, like, look how good we were for most of the season. How many days were Chelsea in first place? How many days were Liverpool in first place? How many days were who else was up there? Like Newcastle, United, Tottenham. Like, how many days were they challenging for the title? Zero, like none. Like, United was in the title race for a week, you know, and then they fell off, right? So yeah, anybody who wants to banter Arsenal and Arsenal fans about all that nonsense, like, come on, man, like, your team didn't really do anything, and like, you can only hope that that teams are going to improve, right? Like we have the same hope as well. But at least going into the summer, we're going to feel a lot better knowing that we finished second place above everybody else, and everybody's got problems. Like who knows what Chelsea's going to do? Tottenham doesn't even have a manager. United maybe is a team I'm kind of thinking about. Same thing with like Newcastle, but like Liverpool, I just announced that like 4 of their starters that they've had for such a long time aren't coming back at all. Like they're not even going to try and sell. They're just going to let them go on free transfers or whatever. Like, what's it's a lot to there's a lot to go. A lot is going to happen, but like I mean, a lot is going to happen over at North London at the Emirates as well. So like it's exciting, man, and I'm really looking forward to. Like I said, even just not even looking that far ahead, just looking forward to seeing what how professional and how good are we going to look against Nottingham Forest first and foremost, and then Wolves. Like let go and show up and be a professional and play hard, and because that could mean either you're going to elevate your status within the club, or if your intention is to leave and move on to somewhere else, like that presents that shows other teams how valuable you can be to a different organization. If that's what you want to do, if you want to go somewhere else, well then show and prove it and look good so that other teams will be willing to take you on. So yeah, even though it's still second place is set, like there's still a lot to play for, I think, and I'm pretty confident that the boys are going to show it, because as rough and as uninspired as they looked at this Brighton match overall, I still think for the first half, for the first 50 minutes even, like we were playing difficult. We were playing pretty good. It's just at some point you just run out of legs, and we were playing a really, really good Brighton team on really good form as well. So it just happens, man. So hopefully we can bounce back. I mean, Brighton bounced back as well. They lost 5-1 against Everton, and they showed out against us. So Nottingham Forest, Arsenal bounced back very, very well for the most part. So see what happens, man.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Gonna have to ask you this. It's a question I don't really want to have to ask you, because it's just, oh man, looking across at them now, they're probably going to see it this weekend, even if we beat Nottingham Forest. Obviously, we don't want to hand it to them. We'd rather they have to go work for it. But I'm going to ask you your prediction for the Man City Chelsea game.
Oh, you know what, man? Like I'm gonna still hold out hope. Chelsea have been for whatever. Like I can't say they've been on good form, but they've been better as of late. They tied Nottingham 2-2, so like they're stepping up a little bit. They still got a ton of injuries. They look abysmal overall, but I think maybe again, that professionalism, that pride. Do Chelsea want to be the team that end up losing and giving up the title? I think we're going to see a really, really tight game. Chances are City's going to end up winning it, but I'm going to go 2-2 draw for City. And I mean, they still might end up beating Brighton and winning before the final day of games. But I'm going to say 2-2 draw.
Okay. Well, you're being really optimistic, man.
That's really optimistic. I'll admit it. I'll say that. Yeah, you're right. That's more like I'm cheering with my heart, kind of like I did with City and Everton. But man, come on, man! Like just give us one more week of hope.
After what I just saw today against Real Madrid and what we've seen all season from it, but just today just reminded me of how great a team they are, because they stepped it up today. The pressure was on them. They'll be remembering what happened last season against Real Madrid, and they just didn't give Real Madrid any chances. That was a dominant win. 4-0 against Real Madrid. I think they're going to do something similar against Chelsea. They're going to be wanting to try and wrap up the league in front of their home fans rather than let it go to the Brighton game. Also, they'll probably be looking to, the quicker they see it, they're making rest players ahead of the FA Cup final and Champions League final they got coming up as well. So, yeah, bro, I have no hope at all, especially Chelsea. The way they've been playing this season, we saw how poor they were here. I just can't see them getting anything. But you never know. It's football. You know, anything could happen, but it's unlikely, bro. But yeah, bro, it's been a hard show.
100%.
Yeah, it's been a hard show, man. It's been a hard few days for us, but once, like I say, once we look back at this season overall, there's so many positives, and really proud of our team. And yeah, bro, let's hope when I see you on next week's show, we're talking about us getting a victory against Nottingham Forest, regardless what happens with Man City. Let's finish the season, get a couple of wins, finish on a high heading into the summer.
Hell yeah, man. I'm going to be waking up bright and early to watch all the damn games like I always do and see what happens. And yeah, but whatever happens, Arsenal through and through. It's been a wonderful season, and yeah, let's just see let's see what's in the cards still, and we'll go from there. So look forward to talking to you next week when the title is still up in the air because Chelsea upset City 3-2. Last second goal from Mudryk. He's gonna score a goal, and then he's gonna reveal like an Arsenal shirt under his Chelsea shirt. How about that? No, I'm kidding. We'll see what happens, man. We'll just see.
Yeah, bro. All right, man. So that's all from us. Thanks, bro.
My pleasure, man. Looking forward to talking to you next week.
For sure, bro. So that's all from us, everyone. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share.